If you feel like your life has been meaningless before 40, you're not alone. But here's what Carl Jung wants you to understand. You're only just getting started. Many people enter middle age with feelings of loss, disappointment, and fear. They realize their youthful dreams didn't come true. Or worse, they achieved everything they wanted and still feel empty. They look back on the past 2 decades and ask themselves, is this all life has to offer? Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, believed that 40 is not a crisis. It's the true beginning of life. Before that, you were simply following a script imposed by society: study, work, make money, start a family. But at a certain point, you are forced to ask, whose life am I really living? I wish I had realized this sooner. But maybe it's never too late to start over. And this letter will show you why. If you feel the positive energy, don't forget to like this video and share a meaningful comment. 1. Before 40 is just the trial phase. Carl Jung believed that the first half of life is not about truly living, it's just preparation. Before turning 40, you are caught in society's expectations. Get good grades, build a career, get married, buy a house, raise kids, as if life is just a checklist to complete. You don't question it, you just follow the script. And then, when people hit middle age, they realize a harsh truth. Everything they pursued did not actually make them happy. They spent their youth building an ideal version of life, but for whom? For their family, for society, or just to satisfy their own ego? At some point, you must face yourself and ask, whose life am I really living? This is not a sign of failure, it's an opportunity to wake up. Jung called this stage the death of the ego, when the values you once held collapse, allowing you to be reborn. If you feel lost, empty, or confused at 40, remember this: you are not ending, you are beginning. 2. A midlife crisis is not an end, it's a rebirth. When people reach 40, many experience what's called a midlife crisis. They start feeling dissatisfied with life, their work becomes dull, relationships grow distant, and most importantly, they feel lost. But this doesn't mean life is declining. On the contrary, it could be a sign of awakening. Carl Jung believed that the second half of life should not be a continuation of what you've done before, but the start of an entirely new journey, a journey of discovering your true self. If you've spent the past decades living to please others, then after 40, it's time to learn how to live for yourself. This is when you shed the mask, discard outdated expectations, and ask yourself the most important question: what do I truly want? People struggle in midlife not because they are losing something, but because they have never truly understood who they are. If you feel uncertain, it's not a sign of failure, it's a sign that you are breaking free from your old self. And that is necessary for you to begin a more meaningful life. 3. The time to live authentically. After 40 years of chasing other people's expectations, this is the moment to take back control of your own life. No more proving anything to anyone. No more living by standards you never set. This is your opportunity to start a new journey, the journey of authenticity. If you look at the most successful people, you'll notice something interesting. They didn't reach their peak when they were young. Ray Kroc built the McDonald's empire at 52. Sam Walton founded Walmart at 44. Stan Lee created Spider-Man at 40. They didn't let their past define them. They understood that life truly begins when you figure out what you truly want. Living authentically means having the courage to admit what no longer serves you, whether it's a job, a relationship, or even an identity you've clung to for years. This is the time to let go of what's false, to change without fear. Because if not now, then when? If this video made you think, hit like now. Comment below. How have you applied Stoicism in your life? Stoic success, unbreakable mindset, total control. Don't fear change. If I could send a letter to my younger self, the first thing I'd write is, everything will change, and that's okay. When we're young, we believe life is a straight path. Once we choose a direction, we must stick to it. But the truth is, life is always changing, and you have the right to change with it. You can switch careers, walk away from relationships that no longer serve you, or chase a dream you once thought was too late. The biggest trap we set for ourselves is the fear of starting over. But remember this, it's better to begin again at 40 than to spend the next 40 years in regret. Change isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign of growth. You might lose a job, a friend, a relationship, but that's not the end. It's life clearing out what no longer fits to make room for something better. Your job isn't to resist change. It's to learn how to adapt and use it to become stronger. Build a life of your own. Don't just chase society's version of success. If there's one thing I wish I had realized sooner, it's this. No one cares how successful you are if you hate your own life. We spend our youth chasing success by society's standards. A stable job, status, money, external validation. But one day, you might achieve all of it and still feel empty. Why? Because those things weren't your definition of success. They were just what others convinced you to want. Carl Jung believed that every person has an inner calling, a unique path we must discover and follow. Yet most of us get trapped in the expectations of family, society, and friends. We live to please others instead of listening to ourselves. If I could go back, I would tell myself, don't live the life society wants. Live the life you truly want. Ask yourself, if no one were judging you, what would you do with your life? That answer is your true north. Learn to live with uncertainty. If there's one truth I wish I had understood earlier, it's this. You will never have everything under control. When we're young, we obsess over certainty. We need the perfect plan. We need to know exactly what the future holds. We need to make sure we never fail. But the truth is, no one has complete control over life. Suddenly, the job you thought would last forever disappears. The relationship you believed was unbreakable ends overnight. Health, finances, opportunities, everything can change in an instant. Carl Jung believed that true growth comes when we learn to accept uncertainty rather than fight it. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. When you stop worrying about what's beyond your reach, you gain the freedom to truly enjoy life and seize opportunities as they come. Instead of fearing the future, ask yourself, am I capable of adapting? If the answer is yes, then no matter what happens, you'll be fine. True freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's doing what's right, even when it's hard. When I was younger, I thought freedom meant doing whatever I wanted, without being bound by anyone or anything. I believed successful people were those who could indulge in life without following any rules. But the older I got, the more I realized that was a lie. Carl Jung argued that humans are never truly free in the way we imagine. We are constantly controlled by habits, emotions, and the things we avoid. Someone might think they're free when they spend hours scrolling on social media, but in reality, they are slaves to procrastination. Someone might believe they're free when they eat whatever they want, but in the end, they're trapped in a weak and unhealthy body. True freedom isn't doing what's easy, it's doing what's right, even when it's difficult. It's self-discipline. It's the ability to reject short-term temptations in favor of a more meaningful life. And if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, discipline doesn't imprison you, it's what sets you free. If there's one thing I regret, it's waiting too long to start living authentically. I used to think that someday in the future, when everything was stable, when I had enough money, enough time, enough confidence, then I could change. But the truth is, there is no perfect time to start. We often assume that life will naturally get better over time, but that's not true. If you don't actively change, nothing will change. A year from now, you'll still be struggling with the same problems. 10 years from now, you might look back and realize you wasted an entire decade just waiting. Taking action doesn't mean you have to transform your entire life overnight. It simply means you start doing something different today. Write down what you truly want. Cut out what's holding you back. Start a new habit, no matter how small. Step outside your comfort zone, even just a little. Most importantly, stop delaying and stop lying to yourself that you have plenty of time. Carl Jung said that life truly begins at 40, but there's no reason you have to wait until then. You can start now, or you can keep waiting. The choice is yours. Carl Jung was right. Life truly begins when you dare to live on your own terms, not when you reach a certain age, Many people spend their entire lives chasing expectations only to realize they never truly lived. But that doesn't mean you have to repeat that mistake. You can keep waiting for the perfect time, waiting for certainty, waiting until you feel ready. Or you can act now. Decide to let go of what no longer serves you. Have the courage to pursue what you've always wanted. Accept that there will be challenges, but also rewards that make it all worth it. Time waits for no one. You can keep living the same way, or you can become the version of yourself that even you would respect. Do you want to look back on your life with pride or regret? The answer is in your hands. And the choice begins now. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.